It's time for Townscape. Townscape, where Tempo FM tracks down and investigates things of interest in the local community. Hello and welcome to Townscape, Drover's Return 2026. I'm Eric Ovenden. A now annual event provided by volunteers in and around Wetherby is Drover's Day. To set the context of Drover's Day, this track, The Drover's Way, explains the life of drovers as they brought cattle from Scotland through Wetherby to the London markets.
By crag and fell and mountainside, by babbling brook and river's glide, the paths we know and keep with pride, and who could us gainsay? Enchanted by the piper's charm, our cattle there to keep from harm, through balmy days or rain or storm, for that's the drover's way. The piper keeps a measured stride, 12 miles a day till eventide, and then they let the cattle bide, the dogs rein in the strays. And in a nearby inn or barn, the drovers rest before the morn, but some must watch until the dawn, while the oxen safely graze. The herds are not the craven breed, for they the lower pastures need. Black Scottish cattle will succeed where rarefied the air. Near Malham Tarn such pasture lies, to fatten them to market size, when they become the butcher's prize, when auctioned at the fair. Now railways run the country round, the drovers forced to settle down, and follow not the piper's sound, his droving days are through. But he may find a Yorkshire lass along the road he used to pass, and put his cattle out to grass in verdant pastures new. But sometimes early in the spring, when softly blows the fragrant wind, and through the air the larks do sing upon the morning clear, just for a moment he may see, though rooted to the farm he be, a vision of the far country, the green lanes reappear. Just for a moment he may see, though rooted to the farm he be, a vision of the far country, the green lanes reappear.
The Drover's Way. Martin Doxey came into studio to talk to my colleagues Liz and Paul about the arrangement and plans for Drover's Day 2026.
There are many traditions in this country, some going back hundreds of years. We've now got Drover's Day. People saying, oh, it's become a tradition. I think we've only had two, haven't we?
No, this will be the fourth.
This will be the fourth. So it's getting to us a tradition.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what we want to make it a tradition. We're already thinking ahead, and we're not anticipating this thing ending as far as we can see. So we want it to grow and keep being a source of pleasure for the people of Wetherby.
So if you've got some new listeners, as the town continues to grow, people who moved in recently, can you give us a brief resume, as they say, of Drover's Day and how it's celebrated in Wetherby?
Drover's Day is a brass band marching contest, and we close the North Street, the High Street and Bank Street, and we have 20 brass bands marching and playing music through the town at about 20-minute intervals. We have static performance areas near the Garden of Rest and in the bandstand. So from about 11:30 till about 4 o'clock, there's live music going on. There's a rock band before that, there's other music before that. So it's turning into a bit of a cultural festival for Wetherby. A lot of people turn out, the more the merrier. So that's what it's all about. It's about celebrating the cultural history of Wetherby, having a good time and listening to some live music, all free of charge. So it doesn't cost anybody anything in terms of the book.
And its origin goes back many years in terms of why we celebrate it and why it's called Drovers Day.
A lot of the history of Wetherby, the town itself, was built up through droving. Just after the Act of Union between Scotland and England, we stopped raiding each other's countries so much and started trading a bit more. And people in Scotland were good growing cattle and breeding and husbanding cattle. And they found a market in the south of England, so literally thousands of cattle were being driven down the Great North of England through Wetherby. And of course they spent some money while they were here. So for centuries, large numbers of cattle came through the town and businesses built up, pubs built up, farriers, the whole thing built up on that basis. The cattle were driven through the town down into East Anglia, where they were fattened up and sent to Smithfield Market. But there's a lot of history in it, and Rob Gray wrote a book on it, The Drovers Are Coming, and you can get that from Kemp's Bookshop if you're so minded. So there's a whole history of this in this book, and that's where it all started. Now, in 2022, Cassie and I, who a lot of people in the town will remember, came to the Lions Club and said, we've got the opportunity to join Leeds 2023 and do a project. What would you suggest? Cassie and I picked it up and brainstormed it and thought something with brass band music. We saw Rob Gray, who runs the Wetherby Riverside Bandstand Trust, and he seized the idea and we developed it rapidly between the three of us, and that became Drovers Day. Rob was interested in the history of drovers, obviously, as he wrote the book, and we needed to make our brass band contest something different and give it a theme, and droving is that theme. So it chimes in with Wetherby, it chimes in with history, it chimes in with the culture and development of Wetherby, and that's how it all started.
People who are new to the town won't realise that Wetherby's got such a long history, so it's been a major staging point on the north-south roads.
200 miles to Edinburgh and 200 miles to London, so we're exactly halfway, place for a stopover. Of course, what I want people to do for me right now, if you will, is go to your calendar and put a big X on the 14th of June, because that's when it's happening. Sunday the 14th of June in the town. Don't go on your holidays that week. Come and have a great time.
Because I was enjoying Drovers Day last year. It was a really, really boiling hot day, as I remember, and it was a question of trying to find somewhere out of the sun rather than sitting in it.
But better that than rain.
Do you know yet where the bands are coming from?
We've already recruited 18 of them, and some of them are coming from in the northeast, some are coming over the border from Lancashire, a lot of them are from the local bands. So yeah, they're coming from all over, and we've already got 18 names in the frame. We've got 2 more spaces, and we won't have any problem filling them. So
the range of all the bands, I know I've seen, they're all obviously marching along, so they all have to be relatively fit and mobile, don't they? But what is the range of people that are interested in being marching bands?
Well, it covers all ages. We've got youth bands, we've got a special section for youth bands, so young people, they seem to be like the crowds most, the young bands, right up to really old people. So there's a full range of ages, and it often runs in families. You'll often see family groups performing. I mean, if you look at the scale of the performance, it's 20 bands, the average 25 players per band, so you've got 500 people coming and playing music in our town. Now that brings in a lot of footfall. lot of people. We've got coaches coming in, we've got coach loads of folk coming in for it. So it does boost the town.
As you say, there's an awful lot of people come in. How does the town prepare for this big influx of people, do you think?
You really wouldn't believe the paperwork. It's to get the roads closed, to get the local authority approval. It does take an awful lot of effort. We have to close the Ings and make it into an overspill car park. So there's a lot of preparation. But what I would say is the support we get from all sorts of groups and businesses, our ward councillors, our town council and the councillors there, businesses that sponsor various activities and banners and stuff like that, the air training cadets, the explorer scouts, the amount of support we get to do this is fantastic. But it needs to be, because if you're safely going to close the roads and safely going to do a thing like this, then it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of preparation. You'll see us at different times in the various pubs in Wetherby having planning meetings, planning and plotting with the Wetherby Riverside Bandstand Trust, the Lions, all getting things ready and making sure it's a safe and fun activity.
We often say on the programme the tremendous volunteer support there is for all sorts of things in town. Are you in a position where you'd like to see more volunteers
absolutely
for the day or
we do many activities in the Lions as well as Rovers Days. For example, at Christmas with Santa's sleigh, in the Dickensian Christmas market. We're always interested in people who want to get stuck in and volunteer and help us, join us even. There's scope for people to join us who are interested in serving the community without being paid for it, I might add.
The nature of volunteering.
So, yes, Wetherby is blessed. I mean, you've just got to look at, what people do with the Wetherby in bloom and the Christmas lights. The whole town, I think, is marked by its volunteers, and Lions have always been at the heart of that, and as the Riverside Bandstand Trust.
Yeah, I think the advent of having the bandstand down by the river, that must have really added to the joy of the event. Having that there has been a real bonus for the town.
Yeah, great Millennium project. I think Rob Gray's dad was largely instrumental in it, so that's really the family as well.
Now, I know in the summertime that the town is blessed with a programme of bands coming into the town anyway, isn't it? The bandstand,
Well, that's every Sunday, and as you know, hundreds of people turn up for that. A lot of Saturdays, a lot of bank holidays. I think it's one of the most used bandstands in the country, if not the most used bandstand in the country.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Rob and Jan Branton, they put together a programme, and it's fantastic what they achieve for the town. The Lions sponsor a couple of those performances a year, and others sponsor them so that they are financed again free to the public.
But I think it's great that the town can offer an opportunity for all these young and old people and everybody else in between as well who is enjoying playing instruments to come to the town and play for us. It's great.
It really is. It's great. And Wetherby was such a lovely town. I think that's one of the things that makes people so proud of it, is that it is lovely, but it wouldn't be as lovely without all the volunteers.
Martin, you've mentioned that Drovers Day is on the 14th of June, and make sure people have got that date in the diary. Hopefully the weather will be a lovely, bright, sunny day, but just thinking of the weather, and obviously marching along in the rain isn't much fun, but what sort of impact does the weather have on musicians? What's the ideal weather for a marching band?
Well, I think it was pretty ideal last year in 2025. There was, as you've mentioned already, Liz, it was a lovely sunny day. Perhaps we don't want beating sun, just nice and warm and dry. That would be ideal, because it is quite hard work to march and play music at the same time. You see some people sweating profusely while they're doing it. So, ideal weather would be that, but it won't stop us. It's rained in the past and it hasn't stopped us, and it's a bit sad when you see somebody emptying a tuber out, some water's running out. but the pretty tough lot, and they have coats over the uniforms and so on. But what part of the spectacle is how brightly they all dress. If you look at, they all match exactly, and part of the visual spectacle is that. So we don't want it rainy. We've got to be out there for hours on end. So let's make it nice weather, and let's hope we get a summer like we had last year after having a winter as wet as this one.
Yeah, I remember the Queen's, I think it was the Diamond Jubilee, when it was a terrible day in June, and all these singers and musicians along the side of the Thames were absolutely drowned in the rain. It must have been a dreadful thing for them, wanting to sing and play the music, and yet the weather just conspired against them. So let's hope, that we have a decent day. So
let's hope so.
Yeah. Is there a way people can find out a bit more about Drovers Day?
Yes, if you go on Facebook, Rob Gray and the Bandstand Trust put an awful lot on Facebook. The Lions put it on Facebook, on all the social media as well. A good place to go is wetherbylions.org, www.wetherbylions.org, where you'll see lots of pictures about all our activities, including drovers and contact details and so on. So yeah, there's plenty of material around. We'll also be putting banners up either end of the town. Obviously we get flyers and posters and stuff. We're not allowed to put the posters up until a couple of weeks before the actual event, but we tend to cover the town with those, so people have no excuse not knowing. But it's remarkable, and no matter what you do and say, people will always say you didn't tell us and we didn't know about it. But hopefully Tempo FM's doing your bit in publicising the event, so thank you for that. It is appreciated.
Yeah, indeed, and thank you. Yes, it's hopefully the town of Wetherby is listening in to us and making notes in their diaries. So yeah, so just thinking about the route through the town, where do people start and stop, and what happens on the way around the route?
Okay, well, what happens is the bands assemble around the New Inn, and the road is closed there down Bank Street. You can still get into Morrison's car park on North Street, but it's closed immediately after that, and it's closed down to the roundabout by the Red Lion and where the toy shop is. So that whole length is closed off, and the bands assemble and they set off at 20-minute intervals, and they play down Bank Street, and then they swing left in front of the Horse Fair Centre up towards the Garden of Rest. So that's the first marching and playing section. They then do music from a prayer in front of Boots, between Boots and the Old Man's Parliament and the Garden of Rest. So that area is closed off and it's marked off. And you'll actually see a judge sat in a camper van. And it's quite a peculiar thing that they get judged on their marching, they get judged on their performance of the prayer, and then there's another judge sat behind the bandstand in a tent. Please don't molest these people. They're not even allowed to go out to the toilet. They have to stay in there for the entire day in case they see a player. They're very, very keen on it being a fair contest. The referees or the judges aren't allowed to see anybody. They just have to purely go on what they hear or see if it's marching. What they call a deportment is the marching's judged on the deportment. If they look like a good military band or they look like a lot of people who aren't coordinated, So that's how all that's judged. So they perform that, and then they go march down towards the Red Lion, and on that stretch they will do what's called an entertainment march. Now that's a free-for-all. That's just to give entertainment. So they do all sorts of performance, jumping about, playing surprising tunes and so on. So that's the entertainment march. Then at the Red Lion they break step and they walk down into the car park, into the Riverside car park, Wilderness car park some people call it. They walk into there and then they play at the bandstand. And again, there's a performance area there, there's a performance area on North Street, and there's a marching and playing in between, and people spread out pretty well all over that place. The car park, the Riverside car park, is closed for the day. We shut it very early. There's temporary toilets in there, We do provide nearly all the time disabled access, but it's very difficult because we have to actually stop things and escort them at walking pace in front of us to get safely in, because there's just hundreds of people in that performance area. That's where all the instruments are and all the bands are. So we do ask people to use the overflow car park on Drovers Day, and the overflow car park is down Lodge Lane.
You ever thought of approaching the high school? Because that's a big car park in there.
The high school very kindly let us put the buses there.
Ah, right. So then you do use
because
it,
you've got a number of buses, and there is a bus stop in Cluster of Nuts, but a bus area, but it's not big enough. Because we're expecting at least 6 coachloads before coming.
Just going back to the march, each band just does it once. Is that correct? No, you don't get encores.
We're quite tight for time. One of the things we like to do is keep the entertainment flowing. They just have to get on with it, basically, and we shoo them along if they're not keeping up.
Yeah,
and there will be other activities as well down there. There'll be a bar. Wetherby Brew Co. are helping us do a bar. They often produce a Wetherby Drovers special beer for the event.
Yeah.
So there will be food. The Lions, Tricia from the Lions, will be running a bacon butty stall, like we do at Christmas. There'll be food and drink, and Geneva Instruments will have a big tent full of musical instruments for people to try and buy. So we're trying to steadily build it up into a bigger and bigger spectacle.
So in terms of each band then, from when they set off to when they arrive at the end point and have finished their set, how long does each band have, if you like, to perform?
It takes them about, say, 5 or 10 minutes to do the first bit, 20 minutes for the second bit, 10 minutes for the next bit, and 20 minutes from the... So they'll be performing 3 numbers and 2 lots of marching. So, I don't know, 40 minutes, 45 minutes per...
So they've obviously done a lot of practice and preparation.
Yeah. Well, they're at it a lot of weekends. They do the Whit Sunday marches, and there's different competitions in different parts of the country, north of the country mainly. But yes, they'll be performing all over the place.
So is it Drovers Day the highlight of the marching band's year, do you think?
It is for some. We think it's the best. Certainly not the biggest. The Whit Sunday marches are massive there in Lancashire, so that it does happen in different places, but we think ours is unique, and it's the only one with the Drovers theme. It's more of a cultural history than perhaps some, but I'm sure Rob Gray will come in and talk to you about a lot more about the history and what the other areas do, because that's more his area of expertise rather than my own.
You've been listening to Townscape, Drovers Return 2026, here on Tempo FM, where Martin Doxey came into studio to talk to my colleagues Liz and Paul about the history of Drovers Day and the plans and arrangements for Drovers Day 2026. Townscape, where Tempo FM tracks down and investigates things of interest in the local community.